Recently, I got into this painful spiral of a never-ending question of meaninglessness. Why is it meaningless? Why is it meaningful? Maybe because everything is temporary, I became to realize I am too. Or maybe I just watched this. The Holy Mountain, directed by Alejandro Jodorowsky, is a 1973 Mexican surrealistic live-action film following the storyline of an alchemist taking 8 corrupted individuals on a journey to find the true meaning of life. Envisioned as a more sarcastic approach to filmmaking, Jodorowsky's films overtake the film industry with a controversial LSD-inspired story of rebirth, search, and the journey of the meaning of life. But is this search for the meaning of life meaningless when one is trying to define something that cannot be defined? The theme itself of the movie was not divulged by the director nor anybody in the cast. Thus, in the end, we as the viewer are faced with a rare opportunity to understand what we want. The theme differs from me to you. The meaning of the movie might make sense to some, but not to me, or we can all interpret it as the same thing. A statement of our current society. The story begins with a Christ-like individual, a thief, wandering around a bizarre and symbolic environment, encountering a circus, an execution, and a brothel before he finds himself in the residence of the alchemist, who cures him of his lustful thieving disease, freeing him and enlightening him towards the path of curiosity and the journey of life. Symbols and motifs like tarot and the eye create a deeper understanding of the countless images of superlative meaning. Motifs of prostitution, war, crime, and lustfulness also make a strong appearance in the movie, fortifying the need for a cleanse, a search, and a retreat, that of which the alchemist himself is looking for. The quest is not a typical adventure, nor is it an easy one towards enlightenment. The students must pass a series of tests, out of which they may or may not survive. Tests of an often shocking manner and challenges of reconnecting with their purest form and their natural existence. The 7 students are personified versions of the negative characteristics that are associated with the 7 planets: Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. In the journey towards enlightenment, the students get lost, die, and are forgotten. Their minds are tortured, and their souls are tempted with easy pleasures of the world. The journey takes the alchemist and his 7 students through harsh environments, traveling by boat to Lotus Island, where they gain the secrets of immortality, and the Phantom Bat, where the daily lust distract them from their search for the Holy Mountain, ending on top of the mountain, where they reach the cloaked immortals, only to discover they were nothing but dummies. In the end, only the thief returns home to the woman who he loved, becoming the only one who received happiness. The film is monumentally dense, a psychedelic spiritual journey of massive proportions in search of something promised but proven to not exist. Through the film, the thief had been in central focus of the viewer, yet as the ending unleashes, the breakage of the fourth wall becomes the center of attention, where the alchemist, played by Jodorowsky himself, demands to reveal the camera, the crew, and the cast, pointing to the exact message of the film. Reality is what one envisions as reality as long as one believes. I see the Holy Mountain as a method of romanticizing change and the social fight between the fortunate and the less so, sacrificing one's identity to maintain a proper standard. The characters suffer harsh fates, death and torture, all for the purpose of enlightenment. But contrary to the director's vision and beliefs, the purposelessness of the journey and the imaginary theme, or the concept of surrealism for the sake of surrealism, is the reason the movie becomes so meaningful to me particularly. If the movie presents itself in a clear form, in a coherent language, and adhering to the standard of a movie making, then the principal theme of this film would have been overlooked. A Theory in Practice essay, a study on Jodorowsky's The Holy Mountain, written by Oz, mentions a strong belief that surrealism for the sake of surrealism is a disliked statement by the author. And this movie proves why its existence is damaging to the arts. Surrealism for the sake of surrealism is a surface-level movement, a distraction. Although a visibly surrealistic movie, The Holy Mountain fights against the statement by creating a connection with the current day and age. The quote-unquote thief, a symbol of bad omen, darkness, and dark society, and of something hidden, becoming the main character trying to be saved by the almighty alchemist, a looked-up figure in society, an intellectual, and a good omen, whose thoughts, ideas, and decisions cannot be wronged. But when we look again at it, Are we right to assume that just because of his high status he is the one who cannot be wrong? The inability of the thief to leave his name behind references the current social status of each individual. While some may be born as a bright, wealthy young man with thousands of opportunities in his future, whose wrongdoings can be looked past, others may be born as poor, neglected, powerless women of dying minority, whose tiniest mistake will be the end of her. And both of them will never be able to release their souls from what they have been born into. But rather than an individual issue, this becomes a social issue, a form of silent violence meant to disturb, hurt, and separate. The silent violence of an individualistic society. Moreover, I strongly admire Jodorowsky's decision of a hidden theme, or one we must look for, think about, and decide for ourselves if we choose to believe it. In a way, be that a very surrealistic way, Jodorowsky references the current social blindness we face in front of misfortune and our decision to overlook the tragedies that do not affect our own person. Looking deeper into the themes and the motives presented in the movie, I cannot help but wonder about the correlation between his work and the silent violence we as a society face. A torture hidden under the term of rebirth, changing one's entity into something deemed fitting to the standard. But we fail to wonder whose standard are we assuming is correct. Violence as a form of recentering one towards the right path, but whose path can we determine as right or wrong? The masterpiece The Holy Mountain shelters a heavy, fragile question that only those who are willing to try and find an answer for them have the privilege of seeing surface into the motives of the movie. We will always be a society made to follow the right rules determined by someone benefiting from them, and not questioning anything, following them blindly. We continue to look for the Holy Mountain, for a hope of rebirth and freedom from all we've made ourselves prisoners of.